Hello, welcome to Story Circles. I'm Carolyn. Did you ever long to take a ride on the back of your pet dog? Here's a story from old Czechoslovakia about a little boy named Budulinek who gets a ride on the tail of a sly old fox. Once there was a boy named Budulinek who lived with his granny in a little town near a huge forest in a faraway country called Czechoslovakia. Granny left the cottage every morning to go to work, and every morning she'd say to Budulinek, "Here's your lunch, my dear boy, but remember, no matter who knocks, don't open the door." One morning, Granny said, "Here, my boy, I'm leaving you this bowl of tasty soup. Eat it when the clock says 12. But remember, no matter who knocks, don't open that door." She went off to work, and Budulinek sat looking out the window. Lishka, the wily old fox, trotted past, her red bushy tail high in the air. Then there was a knock at the door. "Budulinek," she called, "let me come in. Your granny and I are friends." The boy called back, "No, I mustn't open the door." "Listen, my dear boy," Lishka said, "if you let me in, I'll give you a ride on my tail." Now, Budulinek thought to himself, "Oh, it would be great fun to ride on that grand, glossy tail of Lishka the fox." Forgetting his grandmother's words of caution, Budulinek eagerly opened the door. Lishka, the wily old fox, stepped into the room, then bounded over to the table and lapped up the soup that Granny had left. Then, with a swish of her tail, she was out the door. Budulinek had nothing to eat at mealtime, so he sat looking out the window in misery. He was crying when Granny got home. She asked, "Budulinek, did you let anyone in while I was gone?" "Yes," he sniffed. "I let in Lishka, the old mother fox, and she ate up all my food." "Well," said Granny, "you see what happens when you don't do as I say." The next morning, Granny cooked porridge for Budulinek's lunch, and she put it on the table. "Now, my dear boy, remember, no matter who knocks, don't open that door." The boy sat looking out the window. No sooner had Granny disappeared around the corner than there was a knock at the door. "Budulinek!" It was Lishka the fox. "Open the door and let me come in." The boy said, "Nope, I won't." "Budulinek, you know me. Please open the door." Lishka spoke gently in a sweet, cordial voice. "If you let me in today, I'll give you a ride on my tail. I promise." Budulinek really wanted a ride on her big bushy tail, so he opened the door. The deceptive fox trotted boldly up to the table, slooped up all the porridge, and ran off without even a glance at the astounded boy. Once again, Budulinek had nothing to eat for his lunch. Later that evening, Granny came home. Budulinek was crying because he was so hungry. "Did you let anyone in today?" she asked. "I let Lishka in, and she ate up all my porridge," he said. "My dear boy," she exclaimed, "your disobedience will get you into big trouble." The next day, Granny cooked a bowl of delicious peas for Budulinek. The aroma was so enticing that he began to eat them as soon as she left. Once again, Lishka came knocking at the door. Budulinek, she called, open the door. This time the boy took his bowl to the window so that she could see him eating the luscious peas. Oh, Budulinek, Lishka begged, please let me in. This time I'll give you a ride on my tail, I promise you. You can't trick me this time, the boy called back. I'm sorry I took your food, she said. I'm here because I must give you a ride today. Budulinek opened the door. Lishka ran up to his bowl, stuck her nose in, and gobbled up the remainder of his meal. Then she extended her beautiful tail. Now, she said. Budulinek sprang onto her tail. As the fox started running around the room, Budulinek began to laugh. The faster she ran, the greater his glee became. He held on tight, whooping with joy. They leapt across the rug, over the couch, and through the rooms. Then Lishka ran out the front door, across the main street, and into the forest, where her own children lay snugly at home in their den. Budulinek's laughter died away. He had no idea where he was, and Lishka and her 3 cubs would not let him leave. Instead, they teased him and bit him. With all his heart, he wished to be back home, safe with his granny. When Granny got home that evening, the door was open and her dear boy was gone. She looked everywhere for Budulinek and asked everyone she met if they'd seen him. But it was all in vain. His granny cried and cried because she was terribly sad and lonely. A few days later, a street musician came by. He was an accordion player, and when he played, people usually gave him money. His music made Granny think of her dear boy. Mister, here's a coin for you, but please don't play any more. Your music makes me cry. Why is that? He asked. It makes me think of my dear grandson. And she told him all about Budulinek and how she thought Lishka the fox had kidnapped him. The musician said, How dreadful, but never fear. I, too, have some tricks up my sleeve. He searched the forest until he found the fox's den. There he set up his accordion and began to play. As he played, he sang beneath his breath, Old Mother Fox and 2, 3, 4, Budulinek, he makes one more. Lishka heard the music and said to her eldest, Here, son, give the musician this coin and tell him go away. The young fox did as he was told. As the musician reached over to accept the money, he grabbed the creature and stuffed him into a large sack. Then he continued playing. He sang, Old Mother Fox and 2 and 3, Budulinek makes 4 for me. When her eldest did not return, Lishka thought he'd gone off to play, so she sent her second child out with a coin. The musician grabbed him too and stuffed him into the sack. Then he went on playing his accordion and singing softly. Old Mother Fox and 1 to see, Budulinek makes 3 for me. When the second child did not return, Lishka sent the third. He too got stuffed into the sack. Then the musician played his accordion and sang quietly, "Old Mother Fox, I'll soon get you. Budulinek, he makes just two." At last, curious about the whereabouts of her children, Lishka emerged from the den. The musician promptly seized her, crammed her into the sack, and knotted it tightly, all the while singing lustily, "Four naughty foxes, all caught alive. Budulinek, you're number 5." The boy crawled out of the hole. When he saw his rescuer, he cried, "Oh, please, mister, please take me home to my granny." The foxes were left to claw their own way out of the sack. Budulinek was reunited with his dear granny. They both shed tears of joy to be with each other again. And Budulinek had learned to never open the door to trouble again.